simple a dome to light your environment and to create a simple sky. So here's a simple castle with a simple land that I've created. I'm going to go to the Surfaces tab. I'm going to make a NURB circle. We're going to talk about this in a little bit, but these are NURB spheres, which are a little different from primitive spheres. So with it created, I'm going to use the scale tool. I'm going to grab it and scale it really, really large so that it's much larger than your castle. Then you can zoom out. All right, needs to be a tiny bit larger. Okay. With this selected, you will go into right click on it and choose isopalm. Select the isopalm in the center. All right, highlight this and make sure you're in the surfaces menu. You're going to go to edit curves, detach. This allows you to select the bottom half and delete it from the top half because you only need half a sphere. So with it selected, I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to zoom in and take a look at my castle scene. And I noticed that the globe is a little too high, so we can select it and kind of grab it down so it encircles the entire scene. Okay, something like that. All right. Now, next you're going to open the Hypershade. And you are going to create something called Surface Shader, which is right here. The Surface Shader allows you to put a simple backdrop, and the nice thing about that is you don't need any extra lights because it'll light your environment pretty quickly. So I'm going to select Surface Shader. I'm going to double click on it, and I'm going to look at the attribute editor, and you're going to see something called Out Color. I'm going to click on the checker box, select File. And I've already set up my project folder, so I'm going to go to the images name and I'm going to find a picture called Clouds. Okay, and you can download any type of cloud pictures you like. Okay, right. Once this is downloaded, I'm going to select the text, select the sphere, come back in here, select the texture, right click. Select this. Oops. Right click on this, assign material to selection. Okay, now we got quite a few things to do before we can actually see it. One of the first things you have to do is go to the, make sure you're on the detached surface shape, so you have the shape selected. You're going to see something called render stats. Make sure you turn off shadows and receive shadows. Okay, so it doesn't cast a shadow on your landscape. With that selected, you're also going to go to edit NURBS. You are going to reverse surface direction, so the picture faces inside. Okay. Go ahead and reopen the Hypershade. I should have left it open. Right click on this graph network and you're going to select the shader. Okay. You're going to find a section called Hardware Texturing, which is right here. Drop down the menu. Make sure your texture channel is changed to combined textures. Texture resolution should be at the highest. Okay. And that's all you have to do. Okay. And you click on this to show the textures. There you have it. So we're going to render a quick frame. You have created a simple backdrop for your castle scene. This time, and it lights it up pretty nicely. At this time, if you want to add a directional light for some shadows, you can. So let me minimize that real quick. I'm going to zoom out. Now notice that this is mapped with the pictures kind of facing the wrong way. So what you can do is open up the Hypershade again, because remember the picture has some land at the bottom. So we're going to go back to the Hypershade, and we're going to right click Graph Network, choose the place 2D textures, double click on it. And what I want you to do is go to the rotate. And change it to, let's try -90 to kind of flip it around. Okay, so now your texture looks like this. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in again. And now you have some type of a landform by the castle. If you don't like that, you can always again pull this up. You can see some landform right there, so you can kind of match your land to that, or you can pull it down if you don't want to see it. Okay, so let me zoom back out. At this point, you can go ahead and go to the 4 views. Go to the top view. You can start creating your motion path to move around the circle. And if you think it's still too small, you can still enlarge it just a little bit more so your camera has more room to move around. I'm going to make this a little larger. Okay. And of course, because of that, I have to move it slightly down so it's going to wrap the land just like this. Okay, if we try to take this to match that color, so let's go to right click, assign favorite material, let's do a Lambert. Let's select the color, and it's going to be some kind of an orangey type color. So you can find a color that sort of matches that color somewhat, and you can assign it to that. Okay, something like that. All right, go ahead and save the scene. I moved my project folder. It should be saved as castle scenes. I'm going to go ahead and name it castle backdrop. Hit save. Okay. At this point, again, you can go to the 4 views, and going from the top view, you can start mapping your path. And of course, if you don't want this to move or to accidentally select it, you can go to the channel box, and under the layers with that selected, you can hit this. So layer 2 will be your globe or dome, sky dome. Click save. You can always hit T to template it, so you can't select it. All right. So notice that there's a lot of little S's. That was the special deformer tool I used to kind of make some little bumps on the landscape. If that gets in your way, you can go to show, and you can turn off deformers, and they go away. All right. If you need to get back to them to kind of edit the way the land bumps, you can go ahead and go back and get it out. All right. So at this point, you're going to go to create CV curve tool. You're going to start creating a path for the camera to walk in through the castle. So let's say there's a bird flying. It's going to fly coming from here. Going to swoop down. Okay, it's going to fly through into the castle gate. It's going to fly around. I'll look on top of this, go back around this way, fly down to take a look at the building, and go back out, maybe come around to this way, fly over there, and land, fly away right over there. Okay, so this is the motion path that my camera is going to take. Next, you are going to, of course, you notice that the motion path is on the ground. So the first thing you want to do is to move it up to sort of, well, if this is a bird, it's going to be flying from the top of the castle. So it's going to be swooping down from here. Computer is a little slow. All right. It's going to be swooping down from the top of the castle. And if you want, at this point, you can right click and go to control vertex. this is the first point that we drew. It looks like a box. Okay, so the bird is flying in here and is swooping down into the building. You can kind of drag those down so it's coming into the castle walls, kind of looking down at it. Maybe scoot it over some. All right, oops. Again, I could also make sure that I don't select this by clicking on this, go into this layer and right click, add selected object. So this will also be template and I can't click on it. Okay, so click on this, right click, control vertex. You can come in here and modify the curve. So I probably would take this and move it up. The bird is flying down, swooping into the castle walls. It's gonna fly. Let's take these points and move in here into the castle walls. Maybe take these points and move them up so it's flying above. You can adjust it any way you want, and you can always come back and fix it if you don't like the way it looks. Take this. You want to make a nice smooth curve so it doesn't look kind of wonky like the way I had it. Okay. And perhaps the whole curve is a little too high, so I'm going to select this. I'm using my laptop and it's really, really slow. So I'm going to probably stop in a little while. Alright, so the bird's going to fly in, swoop, fly around, and go out. So let's just say that's it for now. And I've adjusted my curve. I'm going to next go ahead and go to Create, Camera, Camera and Aim. Alright, now remember the first thing you have to do is open out the outliner. And you're going to select the camera, camera group, expand it, and make sure you don't move the camera you just created. Take this camera, middle mouse click and drag it out of the group. Make sure it goes completely out. Okay, and with it still selected, go to Edit, Group. Okay, and you can call this anything you want. I'm going to call it View Cam. Okay, and here's your View Cam's aim point. So I'm going to select the View Cam, Shift select the curve. I'm going to go to the Animation menu, Animate, Motion Path, attach the motion path options. Now remember, I have not set any keyframes, so I definitely have to do it from here. I'm going to choose Start and End. Starting at frame 1, I'm going to give this a good 500 frames of animation just to have it enough time. Make sure you reverse the front axis to Z and also inverse the front. And that's about all you have to do. Since this is a bird, you can go ahead and click bank so that the bird will bank as it turns the corner. Bank scale, give it a 3, and you can hit apply. Alright, notice the camera now automatically goes to your path, but your aim is right there. So you can still choose to take the aim and move the aim or animate the aim. So I'm going to select the camera, go to look through selected. So I'm looking through the camera's point of view. Alright, and I haven't done anything to the aim is right here. So if I play this, I don't have enough frames. So if I play this, you're going to see that the camera is moving throughout my scene. It's going to go very, very slow. So I'm going to use a wireframe look because my scene is really very, very slow. Okay, hopefully it'll move faster. I'm going to play this. You can see that it's moving through my scene. Alright, and at the same time, I'm not changing the aim point. The aim point is aiming at the same location the whole time. So you can choose to select the aim point and animate the aim point to have the object that's flying, a bird or a butterfly, look at specific parts of the castle and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to right click on this and I'm going to hit play blast options. Everything is good. I'm going to hit play blast. And hopefully it'll play blast in a shaded mode. I probably think it won't. I should have changed it. I'm gonna go ahead and let it finish. Yeah, it's gonna play blast. That's a wireframe look. It's really slow. There you go. Okay. So make sure you turn it on, turn the shading mode back on so you can see everything in your scene before you play blast your scene. All right, that's it.